they're stuck in traffic, I think.
You got her dinner already?
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to the Collector Safe Space Member Spotlight. Obviously, this is not just a member; he is one of the co-founders of the Collector Safe Space. This is my brother, Dave's Dimension. Y'all know him. He's amazing. The ghost busting YouTuber, I have to call it that. Rick James is his new
Yes.
name. He goes aptly by Rick James. And in this, we Dave and I talk every day, so this is nothing new. Y'all know
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we do, but I think we can address some hot topics today. We can talk about some stuff that you know, we've seen along several streams. But let's talk about the the big one because I mentioned it when I spoke with Archer, and he mentioned it this morning on Nerdy Coffee. Big shout out to you, hey Archer. Thank you for shouting us out.
Hollywood.
Today, Hollywood. Uh, Today is 9/11,
Mm-hmm.
and to many outside of the United States, to many New Yorkers that live in other states, it's a somber day, especially if you lived in New York State. My wife actually is a teacher actively now in the school system, and I made an 8-minute video talking about what I went through, what my family went through that day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys want to watch it, give it a watch. That video was for educational purposes, and it's actually true events. It's not bullshit at all. It's what exactly I went through that day. There was more. I just didn't want to go into a 20-minute long diatribe. But I'd like to hear Dave, because Dave and I have talked about this off camera.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Duff. Hey, Captain Spaulding. Good to have our brothers in here. And I want to hear Dave's side of what happened that day. So I'm going to mute my mic and let Dave talk about what happened on 9/11 and his experience.
Well, for me, I was working at S&K Menswear. Was a suit shop. Was a franchise. Was men's clothing, men's suit shop in the Western New York area here. And for me, it was a bit surreal because I was a manager there, so I was opening up the store. I was, doing our morning inventory, setting up the cash register, and this is not any kind of a joke, but we had a tailor in the back. His name was Bernie, and here's the this I can't make up. He was actually deaf mute, so you would have to write things down in order to communicate with him. Now he's in the back getting all starting work on suits and hemming and everything, and I'm working the register. I'm restarting the computer, getting all the bankroll ready. He comes out. He's grabbing me by my arm and he's like pointing towards the back because we had a small TV back there. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And he just was like, gesturing because again he's deaf mute, so it's not like he can mumble words to me. So I follow him into the back. He's pointing at the TV, and this was just after the first tower was struck. And I'm like, like what the hell? What is going on? And I'm trying to listen to the news, see what's going on, and all day, we're baiting, we're just watching a small TV, trying to see the news, and then the second tower strike. I'm reaching out to our general manager who's at his house and who's talking with his wife because his wife's a school teacher. And he's like, word from corporate, stay there. You and Bernie stay there. Don't open up. Right now, the orders are, if you're in the store, just stay there. So we are like in a small plaza, so we kept the door locked. Me and Bernie for like pretty much almost all day. I think finally we got a all clear around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Of course, by that time, the Pentagon in D.C. got struck. But just going like you're one, it was very surreal and in a way kind of just like mind numbing because I had no one to talk to because our tailor, there was a lack of ability to communicate, and at the time, I was actually dating someone who was in New York City. She was a driver. And I did not get a hold of her until about 7:30 in the evening. So my mind was going 1,000 different directions there. But it's like just like seeing what was going on TV, wondering like, what was going on? Is this happening all over the country? Was it just happening on the East Coast? What more could be going on? And my family, they were home. My mom, my dad, my brothers, they were at the house and they're perfectly fine. I told them, I said, right now I have to stay at the store until they give us an all clear, until they tell us what we can do or what we can't do. So I was just watching the news all day long to try and get information, but I was getting more information from one of the most unlikeliest of sources. In the mornings, I used to listen to, because in Buffalo here, we had a radio station, 92.9. They used to simulcast Howard Stern when he was on the actual radio, not on satellite radio back then. And he was giving more journalistic. I mean, like he was sounding like he was an actual reporter for once. That he turned off the shock jock and he was being very real. He was telling people in his studio to go home and he was going to stay on the air as long as possible. I was getting more information from Howard Stern and it freaked me the hell out that, the king of all media is like being the straight shooter and giving honest perspectives on things. But that was 9/11 for me. I was stuck in a store that we were closed all day long and listening to radio, listening to news, wondering what the hell could be happening or what would happen. And I had no one to actually talk to. Because one, cell reception in that store was terrible. And two, like I said, the tailor, he was a deaf mute. So I could not actually talk with anyone until I got home. It was just a weird, crazy, psychotic kind of like, even to this day, it's just, I know a lot of people treat 9/11 like, here's my obligatory Facebook post. But I mean, it was earth-shattering because this country did not experience anything like that since Pearl Harbor. I mean, an attack on U.S. soil that was in I want to say 43. I'm probably wrong, but I know it was around the 40s when that happened, and then it happened again, a little over 50 years later. And it's something that people never thought could actually happen, but it did. I mean, if it could happen, what we're looking at 22.
The historian in me, 1941, December 2nd.
1941. Okay. So, I mean, Pearl Harbor happened in 41. And then, I mean, look at it. It was 60 years later, basically. 2001 when that happened. It's, to me, it still blows my mind that even happened to begin with. It could have been worse. I mean, think about, before 9/11, airline rules and travel were very lax. I mean, imagine if they had actually snuck different kinds of agents or different types of weapons on those planes. It could have been far worse.
I'm curious, did you experience on like Amtrak up that way or like on the public bus system up in your town in Buffalo? Did you guys experience like the cops having more of an active presence on those things? Or
I mean,
because for me, the subway, when I rode the subway, there was a police officer at one end of the car. There was a soldier with an AR, 15 at the other end.
We didn't exactly experience that because one, our public transit is in a subway. There is a limited underground train, the Metro Rail, but mostly we're public buses, and I don't remember anything like that. Now, as far as like Greyhound, because a month later, in October, I did go to visit my friend. Air quality was still very bad there because my asthma was like cranked up to 10. It was that bad. I was on a nebulizer the entire time, but then when I finally got to Syracuse, my asthma, my breathing got a lot better. Because my friend who I was visiting, she was a driver for a Dollar car service in New York. She got a flat and she was stuck on the Brooklyn Bridge. She was supposed to pick people up at the towers. So, I mean, it just, anything could have happened. She could have, any number of things could have happened there. So, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it seems like people have they're more laid back about it. Like they're more casual about 9/11. But for me, I mean, the fact that, I know people who were serving at the time, and it was crazy heightened time for them. For me, knowing someone who could have potentially died, and also now with what I do in my spare time, with being a cosplay Ghostbuster for charity, the group I'm part of has a very strong relationship with Hook and Ladder 8, and they lost their lieutenant that day, Lieutenant Vincent Halloran. And in fact, Hook and Ladder 8 has a GoFundMe because they're trying to do it like a family travel van for the families of firefighters, and they're actually trying to memorialize the van in memory of Lieutenant Lieutenant Halloran, to keep his memory alive. I mean, that's something that you talk to any firefighter, whether they're in New York City or not. I mean, 9/11 is something that always stands. I mean, it's always a part of them. Because I remember a lot of firefighters up here in Buffalo went down to New York City for rescue and for just helping out any way they possibly could. Because I want to say, I think the fire department lost the most number of people, more than police or any other branches of service down there.
Well, one thing I always get somber when this day comes around, because I remember the images of of just like seeing Giuliani, of actually seeing our president, W.
Well,
Yeah, W was in the middle of Manhattan, and all you could see was him and Giuliani standing in the center of the city, and like just the ashes falling around them.
I
there
remember
are so many crazy images.
I remember seeing Giuliani walking through the streets, and to me, that blew me the hell away. I was like, he's actually out there. He is out there walking the streets, checking on people. I was like, I had a lot of respect for him. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not personally a big fan of Giuliani, given things that have come out over the years. But at that moment, when he needed to step up, he stepped up.
Oh,
I don't know a lot of politicians who would have. And for the most part, W was kind of limited in that respect. Let's be honest.
Yeah. That I mean, and we're not listen, I'm not a political channel, and I'm just a person that knows a lot about what was going on at the time. Obviously, I'm a historian, and that's what I've done. But being a native New Yorker and a historian, you saw what the events were. There was a lot. And like I said in my story, my brief story, for those of you who have not watched that video, hey Tiger, it's great to have you in here. And we are doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. My mother was a registered nurse. She actually was trying to get to me, couldn't find where I was, eventually heard from me several hours later. She went to go work at her hospital because they were taking in people that were suffering from anxiety, depression, smoke inhalation, you name it. She was like, I've worked in an ER, and she went right to work. My other cousin, who was in nursing school, We eventually heard from her about 2 or 3 days later. You know, like I too was dating somebody that she lived in Queens. I lived in the Bronx. We couldn't even contact each other because cell phones went down. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a crazy day.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't until like 7 or 7:30 at night that I finally got through to my friend.
it was the way it was even worse was watching I lived right next to the George Washington Bridge. So
Okay.
I could look from the top of my building and see it. And what you would see is nobody was crossing over the bridge because they had military cops blocking it off. People were
I
like,
mean,
I need to go home to my wife and my
from
kids.
your
How do I get
perspective, it
home?
looked like a movie.
It was honestly like my
You
aunt
know?
went to the top of her building and could literally see up the Hudson River to where she saw the building smoking. Like she saw everything
Hmm.
that the remnants of it. And it was absolutely insane. And you know, it's part of like it's become now a part of life. It's become a part of history. You know,
Hmm.
it's a sadly, it is an event that changed a lot of people's perspectives. I didn't fly for about 2 years, and it was a scary moment. Like people tell me they're like, "Oh, Dre, you could have gone to California for dirt cheap." Yeah, I could have gone to California that year. Nobody traveled for a year, and the airline industry failed. There was a lot,
Oh yeah.
but let's try to turn a negative to a positive. And I like to think that the people I've met, the people that have been here, and I want to say thank you to the servicemen and women that do
Hmm.
work on this channel, that have come to this channel. I respect the hell out of you for what you've done, my family members included. And for the people that we've lost, you know we mourn your loss, and you'll never be forgotten. So, but let's talk about a little controversy. Let's talk about some stuff that I loved what Archer talked about on his channel today, and I absolutely agreed with a lot of what he said, but I'm going to disagree with some things he said too. I love you, Steven. Just letting you know in advance.
We love you, man.
Hollywood, I love you, Hollywood, but we got to talk about that HasLab. That I will not say I don't disagree with you that if you made it $150 and that it's not a breath of fresh air HasLab. It is and it is not. Here's where it is not. I think this is a grab for people that were looking at a Marvel Legends because they didn't have a successful one past the Sentinel and past Galactus. They needed a larger size figure. Why you didn't make Eternity? That would have been a cool one because that would have tied into the MCU with Thor. You could have done, like Steven said, a variation on the Sentinel, keeping it in line with the X-Men 97.
Do you mind if I
Um,
share it so people can see what we're
oh,
referring
sure,
to?
sure, sure. Let me present. I'm sorry, we're using the free version on my account. I forgot that Dave and I are going to be using the paid version. So so don't that next week I'll be switching back. I'll be switching to the paid version. So don't worry. So here we go. This is what we're talking about, folks. The HasLab.
Okay. So
So
yeah, this is classic Ant-Man, if you will. And I mean, here's the thing. If you are looking for comic accurate, classic accurate, I mean, yeah, $200, I guess, but me personally, I'm kind of more of an MCU and more modern collecting. This personally doesn't appeal to me. Um, but I mean, for $200, I get that you have. I mean, it just looks like a really huge Marvel Legend. That's how I feel about it. I mean, did they do some good paint apps on here? Yes, I think they did.
this was a
But
prototype.
huh?
We're gonna see good paint apps on a prototype.
Yes, because they have to sell it. And obviously the photography, I'm sure they're doing some manipulation with some lighting and shading. I mean, let's be honest. But I mean, okay, this is what it scales with. Your atypical Marvel Legend, and I have that figure. I
I do
think
too.
no, that looks like a little different one. Doesn't look
No,
like
no,
it has
that's the regular that's the anniversary cap that I have right here,
okay, we get finger articulation.
which they needed to do because that was on the Sentinel mold and that's on the Galactus mold. So
Yeah, but
that was
you notice they replicated they gave the illusion of fabric on gloves. Yep, that's the one I have. But I mean, they gave the look of fabric on here, and they're gonna have face plates swapping. Now,
I have so many problems with this.
I had the and I still have them somewhere up here. I'm, why am I blanking on his name? He was in Quantumania. You know who I'm
Hank
talking about?
Pym,
Huh? No, not
Hank Pym,
um the head, the floating head
Modoc.
with smaller Modoc. I have Modoc and his faceplates. I'm not a fan of what Marvel did with that, and it just looks like they're doing more of that here. I mean, one, how easy? What they really need to show us is how easy is it going to be to, you know, is because I imagine this is like a soft good.
I'm thinking it's a hot toy. It's hot toy esque, where like the head sculpt will pop off, and then there's
Yeah,
when it pops off,
that
you
it
have
kind of
the ability to
slots
like
in.
push. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get so almost like an SH Figuarts or
So
a
I mean,
Figma.
but as far as that goes, I mean that's because what is it? They have okay. We guess. I mean, it just looks like a really what a Marvel Legends should be, but just larger. I mean, that's kind
Now
of
here's
what
the
I'm
interesting
getting
thing.
here.
I won't lie. There was a part of me that thought about it. Like I was like, maybe I'll back it just so I could get it to review it, just so I could see it. Like I've thought about it. Like I won't lie and
Yes.
say it's a disappointment. Yes. Do I want it? No. Would I get it to review? Yes. And then would I sell it? Yes. Because I don't personally.
Well,
There's no love for the character. You could have done a 60th anniversary Avengers pack of like all the different Avengers in their outfits because some
well,
people missed out on
I'm
those
gonna throw this
figures.
out there to you in just a second. Okay, so now they're pushing the 60 years of Marvel,
No, of
yeah,
Avengers.
or
Avengers.
Avengers rather. I'm sorry. I mean, we have all these classic figures, and this was brought up in Archer's stream this morning on Nerd Affiliated Morning Coffee. That they've been doing a lot of classic looking figures that they're hoping that you're going to jump on this. I mean, for if you're into the classic looking or the comic accurate look, then yeah, I guess this is going to be something you're going to want to go for. But where are the stretch goals on here?
The
Have
stretch
they
goals
even
is
mentioned
okay.
any?
So they did, and Archer mentioned it this morning. The 12,000 gets you the zombie faceplate. 14,000 gets you the scroll.
I'm
Now,
sorry, Hasbro, you got to do better than that. I'm sorry.
oh no, but here's the thing.
They got to do better than that.
But see, now here's what I agreed with what Archer said this morning. If you lowered the price of this, right? There's no, it's just a figure and no faceplates, just the two base ones he comes with,
Mm-hmm.
right? You put them down to $150, tax and shipping. People would have backed it, and they probably would have bought two. He's right; they probably would have bought two. But you upped it to 200, and then you're saying that we've set it to 10,000 people. If the 10,000 people get it and stretch it out because it's got 42 days, and people are saying it's going to get backed,
So
that we're going to get the zombie faceplate at 12,000. Well, that's hopeful, right? You hope. But
okay,
if you get to 14,000, you get the scroll, and that's all you get.
okay, here's my problem with this. Okay, the zombie face, okay, looks kind of cool. However, here's my problem. Zombies are meant to look rotted and torn and decayed, right?
Yes, sir.
All we're getting is the face. Now, if they made it so that maybe okay, let's say you get that, and maybe they add like an arm that is interchangeable that will show a bite or a gouge mark or something like that. I mean, you're just putting a zombie face under a perfectly preserved body, basically. That does
And that's
not,
the other thing too.
aesthetically
Like,
speaking, as someone who's a zombie collector, because as I said in Archer's chat this morning, to me, Zombie Cap is still the GOAT figure for the past 2 years to me. To me, he's been one of the most fire figures that they came out with, because they had chunks missing. Like they showed bite marks. We saw bone, and what they did was they made his sculpt look tremendous, like he was actually in a zombie battle. Okay, they made him, like, you could even see, like, with his jaw open, you can see straight through his jaw because you got the gaps in the skin. I mean, they totally made an amazing figure.
there's rumors we're going to get more because in What If season 2, we're supposed to be
Yeah.
getting the zombies, another episode of the zombies.
Yep.
Supposedly, I don't know, but I
But
do know that we're supposed to be getting this show, and they said that there is a figure line. My friend that used to work at the comic shop, he
Mhm.
reads all the dirt sheets, and he has like tons of friends that are in the industry.
well,
He said that we should be getting a wave later, not this year,
Well,
but the announcement should be
this
at
is my
Emerald
gripe.
City.
This is my gripe. They did such an amazing job with that cap. They totally crapped the bed on the other zombies they've done. Scarlet Witch, because all, like, for the most part, it's paint. For the most part, it's paint apps. Zombie Stark, which I still have in box. I have not opened them yet. I am going to be doing it soon. Like the blood and everything, it's just paint. Like, they don't show, like, it's supposed to be Stark in the nano suit. So you figure, okay, it's interconnected with his mind and everything. So if he's decaying, it should be decaying too. We don't get that kind of effect on there, which is sad. So that's a disappointment. So am I surprised that they went with a zombie thing here? But I mean, you got to think, in the zombie world, your uniform's going to be torn. You're going to have chunks miss. I mean, they could have done, like, if they really want, like, if they're going with the face plates, they could have done some kind of a torso plate, so to speak. They could have done something to, I mean, if you're going to push the zombie look, I mean, to me, the scroll look looks way better and makes more sense than just a zombie faceplate.
I can agree. Like, I'm on the fence with either. Like, I'm on the fence with either one. Like,
I mean, the scroll looks
they should have
fantastic.
been added.
The
scroll does look good.
I mean, with elongated ears, which kind of, they look more Green Goblin than anything else. But I think the sculpt, the coloring with the eyes, the face, I think looks really good, and I think the end product is probably going to be a little bit better. And I'm not trying to throw shade at Marvel, maybe I am, but it looks like maybe they borrowed a few of the G.I. Joe people to come through on the sculpting and the painting, because I mean, I can't recall the last time paint apps looked that good. But I mean, like, again, looking at the zombie faceplates, I mean, even the zombie face looks perfectly preserved. Like, where was he bit?
That's the other thing too.
I mean,
like with Zombie Galactus, if you gave me a,
how about Zombie Wasp from What If?
Like a Zombie Wasp.
That I think would make more sense, because we have Zombie Slayer Peter, and I just read today that they are, because apparently I need to go back in time and get the previous Marvel zombies or find some copies of them, because I never knew that Peter gets bit in a few different variations of the stories over the years.
He got bit in the very first one, and they have a picture of him and Mary Jane as zombies getting married on top of, like, that's one of the comic book covers. It's beautiful.
Well, the comic cover I saw today, or a picture of, because there's a story about it, they had, like, him, like, his one eyepiece is missing, so you actually see his face, and it's like a look of fear in his eye, and then you get, like, the other, like, the spider eye lens has, like, a spider on it. It looked friggin' amazing. Now it's like, just based on that, I want to actually, see if I can find like these books maybe at like Ollie's or something, so I can read them now. It's
Well,
just
there's been so many iterations of the Marvel
yeah.
Zombies
I mean,
storyline.
I love zombie stories, and I love Spider-Man, so it's like I didn't even know that happened. So
Yeah, I have a few of them. JJ, you're hilarious. Just by the way, I love you, JJ. That was absolutely hilarious. Um,
yeah, I just read his comment.
I love it. But yeah, like I find it, like this HasLab, he backed it, and
I get that a lot of people are going to back it. I mean,
I think I know why. I
one
think
can only
Archer
hope
said it
like
today.
I mean, one can only hope that they've worked out the mechanics of the posability. Since they've done Galactus, since they've done
Sentinel.
Sentinel. I mean, how are there going to be solid ratchet joints? And will there be? I mean, with this being more of a traditional body and not the the larger, because I mean, let's face it, Galactus and Sentinel, they're meant to be meant to look a certain kind of way. But I mean, here's another question. I want this is something that came up during that I thought of during Archer stream. One, because there's been so many failed HasLabs, and I say so many because we're referring to Star Wars in the past. Obviously, the Ghost passed, and congrats to the Star Wars fans. You're getting a vintage ship that's going to have stuff. Although I agree with everyone else that those vintage figures should be included with the ship. But it is what it is.
But we don't get, you get figures, right? But guess what you don't get? What don't you get with that? You don't get a lot of cool little nuances that people wanted. Everybody wanted
Razor Crest.
The
Razor Crest had
Crest.
a lot of stuff in there. But I mean, it's are the ratchet joints going to be nice? Is it going to move nice and smooth? Is it going to, how really posable is this going to be? I mean, in the live stream, did they really show a lot on it? I mean, honestly, even for the price point, they probably could have thrown in like what they gave you, like little dio pieces that were just like his footprint,
or like SH Figuarts did, like damage, like where you have like a crater, like give me like the crater effect, or like a punching into the ground effect.
I'm sorry, looking at like the antennas, like the zombie one, I look at it and I'm just thinking Loki. The Loki horns, kind of in a weird twisted way.
Let's see what JJ has a comment. He says, "I love this HasLab because I think that with Marvel, this is the way to go right now. Tall figures, and I hope they can make a giant apocalypse. Fing Fang Foom and a Celestial.
Nice.
Now here's the irony, JJ. Dave and I talked about this, and I talked about this on a rant. If they had made a Celestial like from the comic books, where it was the base for the Avengers, because that's the current base of the Avengers is a Celestial that's on Earth. That would be an awesome figure. If you remade Fing Fang Foom and then gave us magic effects for like Doctor Doom, or not Doctor Doom, for Doctor Strange, Clea, that would be cool because Fing Fang Foom, is a Thor, Doctor Strange, kind of the mystical characters side.
Yeah.
Hell, if you made an Apocalypse, sticking with the X-Men 97, if you gave us a giant Apocalypse and then the four stretch goals would have been, give me the Four Horsemen. That would have been an amazing HasLab.
Well, we've already had an Angel in that style before.
We've had Archangel, we've had Angel, and there's been what, 2 remakes or 3 remakes on Archangel?
We've had Storm with the Mohawk.
We're getting her again.
Yeah.
For the X-Men 97, which I already pre-ordered her because I want those figures. They look amazing. I am not a diehard Marvel Legends fan outside of Spider-Man.
I mean, I would love to see. I mean,
except for the Rogue.
With Apocalypse, I mean, there's so much you can do with it. I mean, you could even like his, like the wires and hoses that go around him and stuff. I mean, there's a lot you could do with that. You can even do LEDs with it.
I would expect there to be
mean,
light up features with an Apocalypse, and I'd expect them to also package 2 variations of him, meaning we'd get the large, like the
the
1/6
the regular size
scale,
and then like the larger one.
and then give me
Yeah.
the Egyptian version as a
Yeah.
1/12 scale, or make it like a deluxe Marvel Deluxe figure, because I mean,
Yeah.
where I have a deluxe figure, or I had one. I mean, I'll use Necron.
Well, see, one thing I always complained about some of the HasLab stuff is
Yeah,
storage. Yes.
deluxe size version
Exactly.
of the Egyptian version, and you give me the 2 foot tall version of Apocalypse, and then stretch goal out. Like, hey, at 8,000 you get Archangel. At 10,000 you get a version of this. Oh wait, you want a Storm that's the child version of Storm from Egypt? We'll give you the kid version 1/12 scale. There's so many ideas, and I get that they have to go with what they're
Now,
trending.
are you hoping that they do like the I can't say MCU, but the end of the Fox cinematic universe when they
No, I don't
actually?
want that.
Well, I mean,
I don't.
they had the teenage Storm with the Mohawk.
Well, no,
So
she was older. She was older than teenage, but I would have liked the if I could go back to the Jim Lee days of when he was doing the book and get
uh-huh.
the Shadow King saga Storm, where like they had her as a kid and she was because she was claustrophobic,
Yes.
and give me that version of Storm with the Apocalypse, like, and you can make like a little mini Dio scene. And of course, I know T3 had mentioned this when he was on earlier on Steven's stream. He was like, "Hey, if you go this route, it's going to cost more. Like a Danger Room would cost $500. But if you're trying to put it on par with the Star Wars ship, a
But
Danger Room would have LEDs. A Danger Room would have other stuff. But I digress. Let me cover what we just saw. JJ post a comment here. Says right now this Giant Man is a good deal, especially that it's the 60th anniversary, and it's a good that we are seeing Giant Man made as a Giant Man for the 6-inch figures, and it's especially better for with 3 3/4.
yeah. Now, given
right.
the price points, do you think that Hasbro is going to rethink the pricing for future HasLabs right now?
As for what Steven
Is
said,
this
yes.
a sign for things to come? Because I mean, let's be honest, some of the HasLabs they've done in the past, they could have offered them at lower price points.
They could have.
I mean,
I think it is a sign of the times, especially with what JJ's saying, and that we know that next year, financially, things are taking a hit. So we might see a reduction.
I mean, certain things. I mean, yeah, I know Archer kept saying that this is a safe bet. It is a safe bet because the classic fans are going to go for it. I mean, let's be honest. All the Marvel fans, obviously the collectors have been collecting for quite a while. Let's see, you got all the X-Men, especially since we're going to be getting the 97s, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you have all the X-Men, which if you're a fan, you're definitely going to grab those. And then we say, hey, we're going to come out with a Danger Room. Or even if they did like Cerebro, like they do some kind of Dio offering, people are going to jump on that regardless. Okay.
But I think right now that's a financial hit, though.
Yeah.
I agree with what the guys have been saying. Especially in our group of guys.
I'll say this. So we have somebody in the chat who could easily make that and make it affordable, at least in my mind, and that's Duff Man.
Oh, no, Duff could definitely do this.
So the homemade makers, I mean, even if you 3D print pieces, it will still come under what Hasbro would normally offer. But when was the last time Hasbro even offered any kind of a diorama or base like set? I mean, what, the barge? Jabba's barge is probably the closest thing.
Barge, the Razor Crest. If you count Razor Crest,
the Razor Crest, I wouldn't really say it's like a base or a diorama piece.
It's maybe.
I mean, an argument can definitely be made for it, but then again, I mean, you had a lot. You had a lot of buyer's remorse, though.
I mean, because look, NECA. Okay, NECA's. Let's be real. NECA has done a damn good job at making dioramas. Hey, here's another guy that does 3D printing. Our boy Millennium Workshop. Great to have you in here. But yeah, like if you look at there's dios, NECA does great dios. It has that Ninja Turtle one with the that my friend, a lot of my friends, Luis, Darth LVJ, one of my other friends on Instagram, Bama Freed, he uses that dio and it looks amazing, you know, and
Yeah,
it's a
I
great
mean
dio.
they
Was it
they have
ridiculous to charge
two.
the price? You
Yeah,
know, was it ridiculous to charge a $300 something price point for the what's it
Lair,
called? For the layer? Yes. And without the accessories and all that stuff?
and that
Yeah.
was the animated layer that they're trying to
Hmm.
offer up.
And people can buy that vintage for like half the price.
I mean, they could have offered up two options, animated and non-animated. I mean, the one like, because I'm a Turtles fan, you know that. You know, me and Colin were both Turtles fans. The one diorama I would love to see, but I know even if they did, it would be too damn expensive. Is Ninja Turtles 2 and 3, the Subway.
Oh, I've said I agree with you both on that in the
I
group
mean,
chat.
that would be a killer base setup, a killer diorama, but they would charge too damn much for it. That's the problem with it.
And that's and see Mattel. Okay, so let's look at the different crowdfunding ones. Mattel has failed on quite a few of them. The biggest two fails they failed on were the
They have
WWE
failed
ones.
this collector.
They did, and it was the what was it? It was the Mattel
What?
creators thing. Was the WCW Nitro entrance thing
Mm-hmm.
that was supposed to come with like 5 figures. It was supposed to be like Chris Jericho, Hulk, Hollywood Hogan, and like and Goldberg, and that didn't even get funded because they were asking too much. Then they did Eternia, Castle Eternia,
Yes.
or Palace Eternia, and I know like Fwoosh and Pixel Dan. And Pixel Dan, if you go to his YouTube channel, you can watch. He had that's the centerpiece of his collection is Palace Eternia. We have Cat's Lair. Super 7 did a 1/12 scale Cat's Lair. Let's be honest. Has anybody besides
was
NECA
that Super
and
7
Super
that
7?
did that?
Yeah, Super 7 did that. So
I mean,
there's
they did
only
the
2
Thunder
bases.
Tank.
They did a 1/12 scale hover tank or the Thunder Tank,
Yes.
and the 1/12 scale base. Now, yeah, the base is what $695 plus shipping and tax. So people are paying about $800 for it. Has anybody else seen besides NECA and Super 7 make a base and be successful with it? Because the Motu one, Eternia, that's only for the Origins figures. That's not for
I'm going to say
Masterverse.
realistically, not in the past 15 or 20 years, probably. To be honest,
Exactly. So Hasbro is on the precipice of greatness in this sense because they can go and say, "Hey, Terradrome. Hey, for not the what was it? I forgot the flag is like the goal for every GI
well,
Joe
see
collector.
that I was going to bring up the flag.
Like that's the base vehicle in 2 combo
But-
right there.
But I mean, years ago, GI Joe, they had the it was like a Cobra base, but it was like kind of like an oil drilling platform. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I had that one.
They had that one. They had the GI Joe base. I mean, the only thing close, I can't say the Ark because the Ark was more of a transformer than it was a base.
Fortress Maximus, Metroplex.
Which I heard
Corporate
actually, I heard Fortress is getting a reissue potentially later on this year.
We needed one. We needed one. As Transformer fans, we needed
But the problem is, they're too damn big. If you don't have the room, you
Unicron. Unicron, that was funded. They did Unicron. I think you can make a Fortress Maximus reissue HasLab.
But if you're a Transformers fan, we're gonna release something that's never been released before. We're doing an almost screen accurate. I'm sorry. An almost screen accurate Unicron. If you're a G1 fan, I mean, you're just like, here's my wallet. Just take it. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. Whether it's going to be good quality or not, whether the stand will hold or stand up to the test of time, you don't care. You have to go for it. You know?
Now, JJ, Dave and I have been talking about this for at least 2 weeks now, before this even was a HasLab, before we got into this HasLab. The Helicarrier, Dave and I talked about it. We know Hasbro will never make a a 6-inch figure, a 1/12
Mm-hmm.
scale one, because it would cost like $1,200 and nobody would pay for it. But we think that they're going to make a 3 3/4 one, and that would be something on the docket if they decide to keep going the MCU path.
Or
Obviously,
if
now
you
with
made,
Disney,
or my idea
going through
was
it,
a helicarrier, but it could be easily, you could easily disconnect parts from it to make it into a regular aircraft carrier, GI Joe. So it could kind of work either way, kind of a crossover HasLab, so to speak. I mean, I doubt that they would, but it would be something out there that if like,
they did
hey,
one. He said they
ma-
did one, a 3
maybe
3/4
it was
one.
before HasLab was actually HasLab. They might have done one in the past,
I didn't even know that. I knew they made a Lego one.
possibly.
Like I've seen the Lego helicarrier, and that thing's expensive. But it's not like a Millennium Falcon. It's not like that level of scale, like or the Death Star, where like my old roommate, she had the Death Star, and she had the Millennium Falcon UCS. So those I've never seen, but that's interesting to know. So will I back this? I am about to say, oh, it was a Marvel Universe. Oh, it was a 3 3/4 inch exclusive, base exclusive
Okay.
from SDCC. Okay, that's cool, JJ. Next time I get you on the show, I got to take a look at that. You gotta show me that if you
Well,
have
I'm going to throw this out there.
it.
And yes, this is going to be a little one-sided, but hey, speaking of bases, okay, you've been doing a bunch of GI Joes. It's been a few years since we had Ghostbusters, right? Why don't you give us the Firehouse?
I know that would be
Give
one
us the
I think
Firehouse.
everybody would get.
Well, I know Salacious Rum and a few others were. Was it
Yukon
Salacious?
Phil.
No, Vern. Vern from a Toy Duo. This past weekend, they were talking about, and someone brought up in chat, what if they did a 24-inch Stay Puff?
Multiple points of articulation like this. I think people would buy
Yes.
it.
And I said, because they were asking, like, who would anyone in the chat go for it? I'm like, I would, on one condition. You gotta have like different faces, like different face plates, so you can have him smiling, you can have him angry, maybe a little bit torched in the face. You gotta have like some flame or some kind of some damage for him, like after he gets blasted by the Ghostbusters. I mean, you gotta have different things like that. You gotta have some different accessories, and people will go for it. But if you're gonna try and sell him for like say 250 or 3, I don't think they would go for it necessarily.
Well, that's what Steven brought up, the point of the 150, that maybe if
Mm-hmm.
you bring it down to 150, you cut off on the points of articulation, but you
Yeah.
give like alternate face sculpts, and then you give like maybe as a tier goal or a stretch goal, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you can get these flame effects, which
Well,
Hasbro, SH Figuarts, Bandai Namco has done this already. They've created the effects.
I'm gonna
You
throw something
guys even
at you,
have
Dre.
them.
I'm gonna
Go
throw
ahead.
something at you. With all these large scale HasLabs they've done, I'm talking about the figures. Why have they never done as a stretch goal? You could have like a small diorama piece that actually works as a stand.
That's actually
Like
not a
like
bad.
like
I
for
don't know why they haven't
Galactus,
done it.
like for Galactus or even Giant Man here. Why not have like, it could be like a city street and there's some smashed cars, but his feet fit perfectly into the base, so it works like a base. But it's a dial. It's like a dial bottom piece. I'm sure Duffman. I'm sure Millennium. You guys could probably come up with something like that.
And
It
make
probably
a lot of
wouldn't
money
take
on the
much.
aftermarket.
I get that there may not be peg holes on the bottom of the feet for these guys, but could you imagine that it, because this is where I'm getting the idea from. I've seen Megazords from Power Rangers. I've seen Godzilla. I've seen all these, like the Gundam and even some other Sentai statues. And I've seen when they're put together, a lot of them have a base that they perfectly peg into, but the base adds so much to it. You're
It
getting
gives it a
just
depth.
you're getting the figure, but you know what? You could even use the base. What if like the bottom part was actually storage for some of the accessories too? People would
Hey,
love
Cobb.
that.
Well, I mean, I could talk to my boy Hexstack Travis, because I know Travis is doing stuff, and Cobb. It's funny you say that, and Cobb comes in because Cobb knows Travis.
Okay.
That whole idea would be
but
great if they
but the
did that.
concept is, I mean, could you imagine doing it? And you could even have it where maybe, like, say if it's like a destroyed street, you have some destroyed cars, you can even have like little cheap LED lights in the car, so it looks like the headlights are blinking or that they're on. Or I mean, there's
Oh, you
different
get a
things you
sound
can do.
effect. The car alarm's going off.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
like
you could have had that for the Sentinel. You could have had that for Galactus, and you could have it for him. I mean,
Well-
there's a lot of different things that could be done with it. You know, like, okay, if you're doing if they do meet the zombie goal and he's got the zombie faceplate on, what if you had like a cheap little audio recording of either Giant Man as a Skrull, or Giant Man as a zombie, and you hear the zombie kind of just kind of growling or mumbling or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of different approaches they could take with it. I mean, how come they haven't done any kind of a Dio stand base? It doesn't seem like it would be that hard for them to do, because I mean, the new Power Rangers Lightning Master Morpher that's coming out, it's not a regular stand. It's meant to look more like rock, and I already have ideas what I'm going to do to mine when I order one or two of those. But I mean, why not do something like that? You could do a molded piece. It doesn't have to be all that multifaceted, but why not give a stand for these figures? Because I mean, how many times, let's say a person like me, I live in an apartment building. My floor is not perfectly leveled. I have things that are not perfectly leveled, but if I have a stand, it's going to look better. I mean,
it would.
You're just giving us a figure. If we're spending a couple $100s on it, why not give us a stand? I mean, hell, McFarlane throws you a small stand.
Oh God, no! I hate those stands. Those stands are cheap.
No, but I'm just using it as an example, though.
I mean, honestly, if it was my choice,
they give you a stand, but Marvel never does. At least it's the thought,
I mean, true, but I think that for me, like SH Figuarts used to be, and I say that because, folks, if you looked at my desk, you'd understand. But I have a ton of SH Figuarts. Obviously, you guys know I collect the Common Writers. They stopped bringing them with bases.
Hold on, I will be right back.
Sure. And they recently just announced that they're going to be putting out new bases for the newer figures, because they're re-releasing older riders from the Showa era. So we're going to be we're going to see Heya and Showa riders with new bases, and the bases are going to be themed to the character. So I think that's cool. They're like 70, I think they're like 60, $70. They're currently already out in Japan, but we're getting them stateside here, like I think in March of next year. So, and Millennium, I get it. A lot of people, that's why people do Hot Toys. JJ, JJ's a big Hot Toy collector, action figure collector, vintage collector. He kind of does the jack of all trades. I've kind of moved away from that myself, and I like bases for my figures, but I also like seeing and supporting the community. Travis is doing a great job. Would I love to make a business idea out of it? Dave's bringing it up, and like my wheels are turning, and I might be reaching out to my two guys in here, and we may be coming up with some business ideas to do something like this, because I don't see why not. I don't understand why there is no desire to see a base made for these things, or like a small dial piece. I understand that there's costs and there's shipping and how you gotta be
slave
mindful
labor
of
and everything,
Yeah, I know, and trust me, Hot Toys are one of those things that it's a rabbit hole that I've seen so many collectors give up.
JJ.
Yeah, I can't. See, JJ is different, because he collects 3 3/4, 6-inch, and the 1/6 scale.
Well, he's the Hot Toy guru.
Okay, so here's what. Look. Here. Millennium just made a challenge for me. All right, Rex. Challenge accepted, Rex. I will do it.
But okay, we need to clarify. If he buys it, are you going to make him a base for a fee, or are you doing it free of
No,
charge?
he said he'll do it. He's not going to
That's
charge
what I'm
me.
saying.
I trust Rex. Rex is good people, and if he does, I'll pay the difference. I'll pay for it. But if he doesn't, then it's going to be a collab, and we're going to sell. We will make that deal. So I will buy this figure. I will buy this, review it, and show the base with it. How about that, folks? This is me not flaming HasLab. I understand. Would I love to have gotten the Ghost if it was a 1/6 scale? Oh, wait, a 1/6 scale. Sorry, a 1/12 scale. Yes, but
Catch you out back. How you like that?
exactly. For me, I know that they're not going to ever. It's few and far between. We're going to get any 1/12 scale vehicles that are not going to be under They're going to be under $100. Trouble Bubble just came out. Coil's been out. The motorcycle.
How
His
about this?
tank
What do you think the next HasLab is going to be? What brand? And what do you think it'll be?
Rumor is Power Rangers. Rumor is that's like,
if it's the
we
rumor
haven't had a
that
Power
it's going
Rangers.
to be the other weapons,
I think it's going to be the other weapons.
I think that's going to be a crap. I mean, people will spend it. People will buy it, but I still think it's going to be a crap thing, though.
Well, have you heard the big hoopla that's gone behind the people buying the HasLabs of a weapon or a piece of armor? For example, what was it? The Captain America shield, right? You can get the shield, the Marvel Legends version, for like a quarter of the price, right? And it's made of plastic. It's still really nice. My friend bought his wife the Captain Britain, the Captain Carter, sorry.
Yes.
Her shield. And her shield looks dope. I love it. It looks amazing, right? Bought her shield, and it was like $200. Disney was selling it for $400 when I was there at Christmas, because it was like brand new to the parks. And of course, people that were there that wanted to leave with it, but the box was huge. But you could get that shield, and if HasLab did the shield for it, people would be like, "Oh, I'd be all over it." I don't know.
I mean, I don't have the dagger anymore. I would jump on the dagger. It's only $70, but I'll wait potentially for another warehouse sale. Probably.
It's sold out too. The pre-order sold out.
But I mean, like, let me see if I can pull up any of the past weapons that they've done that they have in stock. Because like 10-1, my fear is if they do a power axe, Zach's weapon, that's going to have an orange cap on the front of it.
Which you have to legally do that.
Well, you can always cover it up.
I mean, sure, you can repaint it like most people do. I mean, like I said, I'm out of Power Rangers, and I know people hate on me for it because they know I'm a big. How could I be out of Power Rangers? Because
how dare you?
I know, but look at the effects. Just look down. Look, Power Rangers come for $25 with free effects, free weapon effects, free blast effects.
I'll be honest, like some of these, the SPD A Squad figures, they're kind of crappy trying to pose them. I'll be honest.
Just so you know, that was never done in Japan.
I know.
SPD Deca Ranger never touched that.
SPD is one of my favorites, though. I'll be honest.
Oh, in Japan, that was my first.
Now
back into Japanese was the SPD, which is Deca Ranger in Japan.
Now that I have these, I have
Go
blue and yellow. Indeed. Yellow remastered. Honestly, as a happy accident, the NECA stands fit perfectly. The energy effect fits perfectly around the disc, the diameter of the NECA stand. So, like, I mean, they're cool and all, and it's cool that we get all the accessories. But I mean,
at price point, it's not worth it.
Well, the thing is, like, holding the morpher.
That's what everybody wants.
Well, let me finish. The holding the morpher, it is very hard to do to get that pose. So that's really more of a gimmick than anything else, because I've tried on both figures. I've gotten them both holding, but it's like the morpher's off to the side, doesn't hold it perfectly in the hand perfectly. So obviously they had to rig it up a certain type of way.
I think that's cool that they made those figures. I have my originals that I bought when I got into collecting them. They're fine with me. I think the only ones I wanted was, and you and I talked about this, was I wanted Red Ranger because I want to have the removable dragon shield, and the Green Ranger buck naked Green Ranger without the shield and the candle.
You said butt naked.
I did say buck naked.
Well, see, my concern is with the Power Ranger weapons. Do we even know that they will interlock to make the Power Blaster? That's the thing.
That was, dude. Do you know how that'd be awesome?
Because that's my fear. Is like, hey, well, we're gonna do a bundle where you can get the remaining weapons, but if they don't even connect, then why have them all? I mean, you got, that's the thing. I mean, if you're going to have all the weapons, you want to be able to do that interconnected blaster so you can do those poses at cons. I mean, that's part of the fun of it, but I doubt that they would.
I know. And just one other thing. Go back up there for a second, scroll up. For those of you that are fans of Star Wars, I love that Mara Jade. I think that's one of the best Mara Jade figures that they've made. My only issue is this: when are they going to fix the female sculpts? That's my biggest thing, and that's like, I love Mara Jade. I've had the original Black Series figure of her, and I've had the Kotobukiya statue.
Who she looks like?
It's one of the better looking figures, like Dr. Aphra. Like it's supposed to be comic book accurate.
I mean, if you go with darker hair, she looks like was it Vanessa
Tina
from
Meyer.
Deadpool?
Wait, Miranda Bakarin?
Kind of like if you go with dark, if you gave her like all red hair, kind of
like wild red with the wild red eyes that she got. Look at those eyes; she's got wild eyes.
Yeah.
But again, like,
not in bad way.
That's I mean, again, I love weapons that have holsters. I love that they're starting to follow.
My problem is, like, when you get a character, I mean, those arm joints, I mean, that's just, that turns me off from the figure. Because it just looks, I don't know, it looks kind of clunky.
Well, they did the same with Groot. We were supposed to get a Groot, like, and I remember Hot Toys was supposed to do that with Groot. We were supposed to get a Groot that was supposed to be like completely, like, no joints were going to be seen. It was going to be able to like bend, but they couldn't build the body without it looking like a rubber suit, and they didn't want to do that.
I mean, so once this goes clearance, people will pick it up like no tomorrow.
Sadly, I know that my comic book
has
one. I have to.
I'm
playing the long game for that one, and same with the Hyperion and the Spectrum.
Now, those who are Transformers fans, this figure has already been out 15 times.
Mm-hmm.
They just repaint it and they repackage it. I mean, this is an Optimus. This has been
actually, hey, you know what? T3's right. That Mara Jade head sculpt would be a very good Mary Jane.
Yeah.
That's a good call out. I 100% agree with that, dude. You pop that head off, that would be a great Mary Jane.
Mary Jane.
Makes you want to get one. Makes you want to get two, and then I'll paint it up like a spider version with a blue lightsaber.
Would you want that head as a Scarlet?
That could be a Scarlet too. But the thing is, the peg holes. Okay, so the peg holes for G.I. Joe and Marvel Legends are off slightly, and the peg holes between Black Series and
I'm sure there's a fix for that, man.
There is. I've looked online.
So,
but is it worth a Transformer that glows in the dark? Like, to me, I don't care about features like that. Glow in the dark is not a feature that I need. To me, give me more.
So
I'm like Ryback.
You said that you want to see, like, well, not that you want to see, but I asked you what you thought the next HasLab would be. You said Power Rangers. Since I asked you what you think the next one would be, what would, if you had your choice?
My dream.
If Hasbro said, "Hey, we like your ideas. Here's a blank check. What is going to be the HasLab you're going to design?"
You honestly want to know? It would be, I know how much it would cost.
Is it going to be the Celestial that we were talking about before?
No. I'm going to go complete Spider-Man. It's going to be there's
Daily Bugle?
there's the Daily Bugle. I want a Daily Bugle playset, like a full on 1/12 scale Daily Bugle playset where I can have and then tier it out where I can get like a comic book accurate Peter Parker. You know, give me you know, a variant of Spider-Man that we haven't already had. You know, give me like some Venom, like give me some of like the make it like
some new spider web effects.
Some that or hear me out. The other place that I would love to see would be the Into the Spider-Verse
HQ. We
Peter
talked about
Parker,
this before.
Yes, you and I talked the one that where he takes the elevator down.
Yeah,
that one where it interconnects.
Now,
and that would be cool.
I will say this: the Sabine helmet looks good. However, we all know that for the most part, this is just paint.
I had a Boba Fett helmet, and
no, but I mean, like, think of
they look good. They look good. I'm not gonna front, but I could get Rex to make me a better helmet.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if I were to, let's say I get this on clearance, right?
Mm-hmm.
One. Okay, you see where some of the scoring is, like right by the lens.
Yes,
I would be tempted to take a Dremel rotary tool, lightly do some actual gouging on it, and then touch up the paint afterwards
to make it actually look like it actually took damage.
Yes, I mean it doesn't take much. Hell, they've done that on HasLabs before. I mean, my camera won't reach all the way over there. But my HasLab, you run your fingers over it. There's gouges, there's battle damage all over it. There's texture. Why can't they do that in the helmets? I mean, yeah, you may not get the same kind. Like, I mean, if they obviously it's all plastic, as you know, injected molded plastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then have someone obviously after they do a paint, someone goes through. I mean, why not do a little bit of, you know, you can have a little bit of gouging here and there. I mean, to me, if you're going to market this, especially for like Halloween stuff, because when you go under Halloween tab, all it is like their cosplay stuff.
Wait, can I make let me make some jokes? So you have, I didn't see this. The next HasLab will be, as what Rex says, it'll be Street Sharks and Dominic Toretto because it's all about family promoting it.
Street Sharks that drive a Charger,
and they have to fight dinosaurs in Jurassic Park.
Hey, we know they don't need to make a Charger mold. They already have one.
True. Ramen Toys definitely has one. And then T3 said that the next HasLab is supposed to be a Transformers one.
Are you talking about Fortress Maximus? Because we mentioned that before.
If it's it'd either be Fortress Maximus, Scorponok. We already got we haven't gotten we got the Ark. We haven't gotten the one that they've been talking about is the Fortress Maximus. So yeah, I would definitely love to see a Fortress Maximus come out of it. And if they don't do Fortress Maximus, they're probably going to do the Predaking, the Dragon Predaking, where he's from the movie that they did, where he's like that 3-headed Tiamat-looking gigantic Transformer.
What if they did Primus?
I wouldn't buy it. If it was Fortress Maximus, that was one I had as a kid, yes.
Well, it depends on what coloring they do with the Fortress Maximus too.
And here's the JJ says after helmet Millennium. Yeah, I agree. Millennium would make a better one, and I think that would be. And I know that the detail would be way better paid into it. And then we have people saying hello to T3.
These are all your cosplay items. I mean, you get the head of the staff of Ra, the lightsabers. But I mean,
don't buy lightsabers. Can we just go to the parks? They're cheaper in the parks. Ironically enough, lightsabers are cheaper.
That's what I was gonna say. Was you can go to other places like Ultra Sabers and a few others, and
all right. If you want an off-brand one, you go to Ultra Sabers.
I was just saying that as an example, but
no. The only reason I say that is because the parks, specifically, being that I've been there,
Mm-hmm.
I was about to go to Ultra Sabers to buy my the blade for my lightsaber because they were cheaper than Disney. Because Disney charges $75. It's 50 and 75 for the larger
Yeah,
and the smaller
from
blades.
what I hear, the best way is to just buy your blades separately and
Exactly.
get your sabers by the just the hilt. But I
But here's
mean,
the problem: the blades that Ultra Blade the sabers, sorry, the blades that they sell don't
mhm.
are Disney's starting to get hip to it, and they're starting to not make it fit the Ultra Blade. So you have to buy the Star Wars
Well, I mean,
official.
there's Saber Forge. There's so many different companies out there that make them, but they make some really great looking ones. I'm sorry, I just don't feel like spending like almost $300 for something that up close, because I don't know if this is exactly what they have or if
That is,
Disney has something a little bit better
you want
in
to
the
see what to
parts.
get? I'll show you because I don't think I've shown this ever on
Hear
this
that,
channel.
guys? He's gonna whip it out.
So when you go to Disney parks and you ask to get a lightsaber, and if they have
Mhm.
exclusive ones, this is the Cal Kestis one. You get this box,
Which
and
one
then
is it? Is it a double sided?
well, it's not. This is what you have to buy two of them to get the double bladed. But this one, underneath the packaging, inside where the lightsaber is, you get the other hilt, like it's on right now, so you can connect it. I'll put it closer to the camera so y'all can see. So this is where you would connect the other blade, so you'd have the two lightsabers. Or underneath this, you get the battle damaged one, so it looks
Nice.
like when you get it in the game. Now, obviously, there's a reason why I have this lightsaber because he's a gray Jedi, one, and it was he's my favorite lightsaber outside of Obi-Wan's. And ironically enough, when we went, Obi-Wan's was sold out. They had Asajj Ventress's, they had Count Dooku's, and they had Vader, Kylo, Luke, Leia, and the dark saber.
Well, see,
And I chose not to get the dark saber
I
because it was too
like
expensive.
Luke and Obi-Wan sabers. Well, they're very close to one another, anyways. I like those two, and I do like Cal Kestis.
Yeah, this one was 175 before the
Okay.
lightsaber blade, and then my daughter Lana got the Kylo Ren, and that one actually is the only one that comes with the little for the sides of the claymore. You get the
Mm-hmm.
two little blade extensions,
Blades.
and those come underneath the lightsaber. So when you lift up the where it lays, you lift it up. It has the two little ones in the bottom, so you can just plug them right in. I mean, it was worth it. Like I said, like going to Doc Ondar's and getting your lightsaber is a great experience, folks. I say do it once. Um,
He said,
I
"Do it."
kind of I would say if you ever get the chance to go to Disney, if you go more than once in your lifetime, it's a good one shot. I would like to build a lightsaber next time I go. That was what we were trying to do. Maybe if we get to go in the next couple of years, I will try to go again and build a lightsaber with my daughter because that's one I want to do. Because I think that lightsaber costs more, but it looks nicer, and you build it yourself. So you get and they used to let you pick your your color crystal. So your kyber shard was all your own. Just if you're flying, I will suggest this thing in the parks weighs about 10 pounds. So you kind of want to like get this and have them ship it to your hotel room or put it in the front of the park for you. You do not want to walk around with two of these lightsabers in your on a stroller. As a dad saying this, just giving that heads up. So we are over the hour, Dave, and I just wanted to say, I mean, we could talk. Dave and I could talk for hours about all this fun stuff,
We do.
but and we do. So if y'all don't realize, he's like I say, he's my brother. I talk to him every day. So Dave, I'm not gonna even tell anybody where to find you. They already know where to find you. My question is, what do you have besides our show on Wednesday? What do you have going on this week?
Well, I'm dropping a few videos. I have been anyone who's still watching, you're gonna look at me and you're gonna curse me because I am sacrilegious. I have been modifying my Spengler pack, my HasLab Proton pack. I've been slowly modifying it. I've been painting some of the pieces to look more accurate. I am going to be putting real metal connectors on here. I am also going to be making some aesthetic changes to the lenses, to the inside of the pack. You're going to be seeing some videos about that coming up very soon. I even disconnected the battery pack. Give you guys a little sneak preview. Yes, that's right. I have a switch and a power cord or a power recharging port in there now. Just so I don't have to rely on D batteries anymore. So I am doing some alterations. I even put an extra circuit board in here so this pack won't shut off after 3 minutes. It'll keep running all day long. So I got some HasLab upgrades coming up. In fact, I'm going to be uploading a video tonight. I have a bunch of figures I still have yet to unbox. Zombie Stark and a few others. I even have the Thor Love and Thunder Wave, which I got from Ollie's a while back. I need to unbox and build Korg. It's made of rocks. But that's pretty much what I have going on this week. At some point this week, I will be doing a live stream. Don't know if it's going to be a talk stream or video game stream. Stay tuned.
Nice.
But that and this week coming, the wife and I are going to the Niagara Celtic Festival here in Lockport, New York, just outside of Buffalo, Niagara Falls area. And I think I'll be doing a vlog for that. But that's about it. But the most important thing we got going on, well, of course, is this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Outer Dimensions podcast.
Which we're going 2 days, just for you guys know that our show is going to be 2 days earlier, or 2 days, not earlier in the sense of we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage 2 days earlier than it's supposed to be. Hispanic Heritage Month, and sadly, my wife had brought this up to me, Suicide Prevention Month starts both on Friday. So we have on the 13th, which will be our first day of Hispanic Heritage, we'll be doing, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's classics we're doing. So we have some classic films we're going to talk about. And then
let's clarify modern classics.
Yeah, modern classics, like 80s going forward.
Yes.
So if you haven't watched a lot of them, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Again, like Dave said it, Dave said it and hit a home run when he said it. Hispanic or not, they're classics and they're good films.
Yes.
So some of us that are Hispanic have watched them because you know your parents made you, and some of them, you know, you just watch because school showed it to you because they were good movies to show at school. I don't have really anything major going on. I uploaded today, which is out of character, but I wanted to upload that video for Never Forget 9/11. I also uploaded. I have an upload coming out on Wednesday, which is my weekly uploads for the next 10 weeks. So it is a courtesy of Yukon Phil. He has inspired me to bring back older videos that I've done years and years and years ago, and I've re-edited them, and they're coming all out, and a lot of people love them. So I don't know what this one is. This one I think is a manga review. I don't remember, but you'll get to see that on Wednesday, and that'll be dropping at noon. We have our show Wednesday. I may be going live on Thursday or Friday. I haven't figured out what that's. You guys know I do that randomly. I did have a pickup today, which is not really a pickup. It was a trade that I'm doing with one of my Cabal brothers. He lives actually here in Apex.
Was it a Ford truck? You said you got to pick up.
No, but this is.
Oh, this is. You did not.
Yes, he traded me
the She-Ra.
The She-Ra.
Mythic
This is the
Legend.
She-Ra tribute, Mythic Legion. So she is. I got all her stuff over here. So this is the She-Ra. Her name is Doriana. She's been one I've been hunting for.
You surprised I knew that one?
No, everybody knows the Master of the Universe ones. This is a gold elf soldier. I love this look. And he has a cape that I gotta take out of the bag there.
You know what the helmet kind of reminds me of in the armor? It looks like the little orange guy from Silverhawks.
Copper Kid.
Yep. That's what kind of reminds me of.
This is an Orc Legion builder. I wanted an orc. I have a female orc head, but I love this orc body. He looks great. And then I have a brand new figure that he traded me, which is the Xylona. Sorry, the Cytherian. This is a Xylerian Guard, and it comes with the green head sculpt already on, and then you have the flesh colored one there. Now I traded him two figures, one Mescos that he wanted. One was open, one was not. So those are going out to him this week. So he'll be getting those. And I have a crap ton of stuff I'm dropping off at the comic book store because my work desk is starting to get made, and I took out my work computer because they sent it to me. I start work in 2 weeks from this Thursday, so I'm trying to get ready for that from home. So that's going to be a fun experience. So get ready to see some cool content and some cool stuff that's coming from both our channels. Again, this is not about me. This is about what we do. I did want to mention that we hit a home run on the mental health panel. We've had nothing but positive reviews come out of it. I'm extremely proud of what we've done, and I've already given Dave a tentative date for the next one. We haven't approved it yet, but it might be mid-October. So we have a few people that would like to come on that they've expressed an interest. As soon as we get that, it'll probably be a Saturday or a Friday evening. I have yet to see. Again, I don't want to run into KBG game streams, so it might be a Saturday. We will coordinate and we'll see what's going on. But we also do have our charity going up for feeding kids healthy meals in schools. We are going to start putting that stuff up at the end of this month in October to start it going all the way through to November 18th, which is the day of our stream. It's going to be a 5-hour-long stream, and it is going to be where you donate, and you donate to hopefully get a shot on the wheel, and on the wheel you will get the opportunity. Now I might change the rules on this a little bit, because if you donate the price of what the item is, I may just say that you get the item outright, and then we'll put other items in place for the wheels. But that depends if people want to spend and be extra generous. Because we have Rex from Millennium Workshop did that Darth Maul mask. We have a hot toy. I think we're leaning towards a Star Wars hot toy coming from JJ. We have myself. My Mezco is not going to be, so I have some figures that are of equal value that are going to go in. FigPix has donated something. Colin's donating something. I'm trying to remember. We had like 1 or 2 other items. It's going to be like 5 wheels. So, folks, if you want to see these items, I'll be posting them to the Instagram page once I have all the items up. And I feel free to donate. We will give you links to where you can donate. If you want to donate directly to the cause, we will need to see some sort of screen cap that you've done it, because we cannot just say, hey, we have to see some sort of proof. And we'll have the rules posted. Dave and I are in the process of working on that. So, and we also have a couple other projects in the fire. So just look forward to it. So again, folks, Dave's Dimension, subscribe to his channel, watch his stuff. He's amazing. And I'm not saying it because he's my brother. I'm just saying it because I know it's true. You can't beat good humans down. You find them like this guy, and they love you like a brother. So thank you to everybody in our chat for coming through. We always appreciate when you guys come in. Thank you guys from Millennium Workshop, T3, JJ, Duff, Captain Spaulding, Rolando, Blue Sasquatch, Cobb. I love you guys. Thank you guys for coming through. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, my friends, if you want, before I say that, if you want to be on the spotlight, let me know. You can message me on Instagram. I'll bring you on, and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about for the hour. All right? As always, my friends, stay geeky, y'all. Peace.
Catch you later.